So, welcome back to MatomoCamp, everyone. Next up is Joachim, you are here? Perfect.
Yes, I'm here.
Next up is Joachim Nickel from Job Solutions, Matomo specialist since 2010. Joachim has trained and consulted for over 200 companies. He is also president of the Contao Association and a popular speaker known for making web analytics actual fun. Today, I think he's attempting to be enlisted in the Guinness Book of World Records since he's attending two different conferences at the same time, the T3 Con in Düsseldorf and the MatomoCamp. So where we are definitely thrilled that he is talking today on MatomoCamp, even if it's a bit noisy outside and everything. I hope that you understand him well and that everything works. And with him is Jean-Marc Cotillard, who is the Matomo Success Manager. Hello, everyone. So there's a lot of trouble around you, I guess. So
Yes.
I don't want to steal you too much time. So yeah, you have the stage, Joachim.
Thank you. And yes, I'm starting right away. I'm using Matomo since 2010, and I'm also the photographer. So I'd like to show you a picture of this one, and I hope you get the point that this one is a tea bag. Okay, it's a photo of a tea bag, and you know already how to use a tea bag. I hope so. It is in this way, or not at all, because this is only a metaphor for things we know which are not working right in analytics. Even if Google Analytics or Matomo or something like this, we don't have exact measurements like the one, for example, in the CRM or online shop. So we do have problems, but we do know that we can solve some of the problems and we can bring the tea bag right into our hot water and all flavors inside our water. And for this, I'm using Matomo. I'm nearly 100% Matomo only because this is my way of open source. And I know Matomo can be used freely without consent to gather more information on the website. So we have this opportunity in first, and the second, we have no stress with ad blockers if we do it the right way. So we can nearly gather 100%. Not at all. 100% is not possible anymore. So we nearly come to 100%. And we have 3 points I'd like to show you today where we have some problems and how we can solve these problems at all. Let's start with campaign tracking. Maybe you have wondered that you have information about campaigns just after you stop the campaign. And that's one of the main problems we have. I've bring examples campaign tracking was about 3 months. First month, we pay for clicks. Second month, a little more. And the third month, a little less. Maybe just normal case. But what we see in Matomo is more if we make consent-free measurement and also ad blocking free measurement. So these ad blocking rules. So maybe we have this. We have more visits than we have paid for. And the second one, the same. Third month, also more visitors than we have before. But why is it so? And what is in the fourth month? In the fourth month, we have no paid for clicks. We have stopped the campaign, but we do already have another and more campaign tracking on our website. In the fourth, fifth month, the same. Everything afterwards, we may have less campaign records, but we do have them. And in my case, I'm very proud of it because every time I give a lecture with Matomo entry course, I can show some of my attributions coming from a campaign I've stopped 4 years ago. There are still every month 3 or 4 visits with this old campaign parameters. Nobody knows exactly why. Or do we? Maybe. I have three exact information. Exact parameters from one campaign. And here's talking a joke. Okay, it's live on the T3 con. So we have exact 9,215 clicks paid for an advertising campaign in one company. But in Matomo, I can see this 10,322 visits. So the first step, we have to make sure what are clicks, what are visits. Clicks, we pay at, for example, at an advertising platform, and they may lead, they should lead at least to one visit. But the visit is time-stamped, conclude in 30 seconds. After 30 minutes, sorry. After 30 minutes, it's split into if your customer has a time off page from 30 minutes more. So maybe one click, one visit, or one click ID will lead to at least 2 visits, maybe, in case of this 30 minutes splitting. But is this the case in this file? Okay, we have at least 12% more visits than we paid for clicks. But if we make it right, we can split it in 2. We can split it into the first visits, this one, and this one will be at least 3% less than the point of we have paid for clicks. And this is quite normal. 3% is very, very near to 100%, so it's okay. But the next one is the following visits, our follow-up visits. And these are, in this case, 14% of the first visits. But how do I measure this? I can show you in a part. First of all, I want you to take out your phone and open your browser and click on the icon so you can see all tabs you have opened. So I wait a second and I hope you get some information from me. Open your smartphone, click on the browser, open the tabs and show me, or write into the comments, how many tabs you have opened. Are there at least 26 tabs with my example here? Or do you have more tabs open? So I have a look at your chat. Maybe Peter can assist me.
So no responses yet, but I personally have 127.
127, okay. Normally our 100, there's an infinity sign shown, but 127, yeah, it's okay. You get some answers more? Okay. Guess.
34 tabs in
what?
Firefox Mobile and 2 in Chrome.
Oh, okay,
Michael.
2, okay. Okay, the guy the people who don't like use Chrome at this. But the problem in this case is what? It's if you open the tab overview, sometimes there are no screenshots of the page you have shown. But in case you open the overview, there will be a visit on the page, only to gather no new information to make the screenshot. You don't interact with this page, but you visited, and if your visit in the first place was assigned to campaign tracking, then also the next visit will be with campaign tracking. So get a revisit. This is one part. Idle tabs and also bookmarks are a very, very strong problem for revisits, but there are possibilities to remove this. But if you have page views without interactions, like the reloading just for making it, the screenshot, they lead to false information on the campaign. Also, if you have only events without a page view, for example, the page is opened and 60 minutes or later, the person clicks on an outgoing link. So Matomo says, hey, I'm an outgoing link, but I don't have any page view. So this is the main problem at all, because this leads to incorrect conclusions for campaigns and also for everything other. But in campaigns, we have this as a main problem. Do you believe this? Okay, I have a proof for this. The proof for this, I'm using the GCLID, the Google Click ID. The GCLID should be unique. Unique in time, unique with visit, unique with advertising. But if I have this GCLID measured as a custom dimension within Matomo, then I see something like this. 31 visits for one GCLID within 14 days, with 2 actions per visit and holding time over 1 minute and 50 seconds. But how is this possible? And if you look down, we have 15 visits with this GCLID with 4.4 actions per visit in average and 26 seconds in average holding time. So this visit, this click visitor, I don't know if it's one person or more, is slightly different. So I scroll down and we see a lot of more visits, a lot of more unique IDs. And this are only the first 25 visits from 1,000. And this is only a result of the archiving from Matomo that we have only a row limit of 1,000 rows in this case. If I stretch it, I would need more of this pink eddies. So let's go into deep. What happens with this 31 visits? You hopefully know the visitor log in Matomo, is shown here on the page. So the first thing is we have a page load, the folder icon. Then we have some more events. In this case, 2 events, a read timer 30 seconds and a read timer 90 seconds. This visit, the last visit of this session, of this click ID, was in case on the 28th of May and 1547. But only 43 minutes earlier, there was exact the same visit, exact the same page view and visit time. And like clockwork, the same holding time from 1 minute and 31 1 minute and 31 seconds. But okay, let's scroll down. Have some more. At least 3 hours earlier, we have also the same visit, but in this case, with 3 minutes and 19 seconds. So around 10 minutes and 4 seconds. Exact the same evidence. So what's wrong with this? Scroll down. I told you, 31 visits in 13 days. So you have visits without any interaction time, without any events, with 8 minutes, with 7 minutes, something like this. And I can scroll down and show you even more. 31 visits within 14 days. You think you get the point of why it should lead to different campaign information, because there are so many visits with one click ID. And one click ID shouldn't be one person. I came across this problem some months ago where I had a look in Matomo in the outgoing links. And what I saw in the outgoing links was crazy, because there was linked to company, including UTM parameters and the GCLID. So why should anybody link outside with a Google Click ID and with campaign tracking parameters stated to SEA as campaign source? This happens while the person who uses the link, who needs the link for a blog post, just look at Google or something like this, searched for the company, find a link to the website, and copy the full URL from the address bar. Be aware of how campaign tracking parameters work and what the effect of this copied link will be. So you have to clean up your page URL after the page is loaded. The campaign tracking parameter, the GCLID ID, something like this, are no longer used after the page is loaded within Matomo. The page view is sent to Matomo. Afterwards, you have no need of this. So you can use, for example, this short script and strip them off, cut them off. Okay, in this case, I have only UTM and MTM parameters cut off. GCLID or the Facebook click ID, the Microsoft click ID or something like this. You can add also and should also click off. Otherwise, you may want to use these parameters differently. Maybe you only want to rename the campaign, so to add revisit the afterwards. So we have this information also in campaign tracking. In my case, I will show you a QR code and afterward in the end of the session. There's also a campaign tracking parameter inside, but in this case, I'm using complete own parameter for this called OCI for old click ID. And this parameter I measure within a custom dimension within Matomo. So maybe not kick them off totally like this script. Maybe you can save it on your own. So this is one big thing I recommend. Just check your UTM, MTM parameters and something like this and clean up your URL. And so far, I came to my next theme, my next information, the visit details. We just saw some information about the visitor log, and this is one very interesting session, I think so. I have 12 actions within 1 hour and 26 minutes. So this visitor has a huge interest in my information about campaign tracking with Matomo. All right. And we see page view, we see some page reading timers, 30 seconds, 90 seconds, and 130 seconds, and also a visit, a target, goal, Besuchszeit, visit time over 4 minutes. Did you know that you can gather more information in the visitor log by using your mouse? Just use your mouse and hold it over this information, and you see it pop over with the direct information about the timing. And in this case, the visit starts at 6:57, and the 4-minute timer, you see it at 7:13. That's a huge step. It's more minutes than 4 minutes should gather the information on. And okay, we leave it. We could have a look afterwards. The next one, the download. This one is also 4 minutes after the 4-minute timer. And in this case, here's exact the same download again. And this 1 hour and 3 minutes after the first one. So the visitor doesn't have the information that he clicked already on this download and clicks again. Strange, huh? And I have to confess, this information contains only 12 actions. And this screenshot is a fake. Because this session, I record even more details in exact 113 actions. You see there's something missing. We have something missing afterwards, after the campaign on the first page load. In the first case, we have only one page load, only one page view for this whole session of 1 hour and 26 minutes. In this case, the session time is only 15 minutes for this page view. So there should be anything different from the other one. It came to it in a second. First, I have here something to show. Focus lost blur. I've developed a system using the focus interaction of the user to gather more information and depth. And this one tells me that after 7 seconds on the page, this window, this tab lost his focus. The person switched to another application, to another tab, or something like this. I don't know. But after 7 seconds, he's done. But all events, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 120 seconds, are gathered again. So without the person is on the page. Why? I clicked a little too early. This is a second page view. I get it. This wasn't there in the first place. This is something I developed with my scripting, so I can have a focus revisit. If a user is 10 minutes or more inactive, I send another page view to Matomo and also an event called revisit. 10 minutes is not the best. I'm just now using exact 30 minutes afterwards, so I get exact the first page view in the next session. But for this case, I'm using 10 minutes. So I gather here information about the second page view. This is not a page reload. It's only a page view sent to Matomo. Will be 47 minutes in length. So have a look. So we see here in the second part, only the 4-minute timer. So we can gather the information that between the first 120-second reading timer and my page reload, so revisit trigger, should be a gap where the browser doesn't execute any JavaScript. It stops it. Maybe in lack of memory, maybe in lack of timing, or something like this. The JavaScript will stop. And so we have a little later the 4-minute visit timer only in the second page view, sorry. So after this, I have also, again, a focus lost blur after 6 seconds. First after 7 seconds, second after 6 seconds. But if I scroll down, I will see that there are many other information are sent. For example, this one, this is 6 seconds, and this one, after 47 seconds, he got the focus back with visibility. There are 2 different types of lost and refocus. It's visibility, lost blur, lost focus, and lost visibility. And I measure them all. And so I can see that after this time, he starts scrolling. I have content impressions. I have my real time and page counter of 15 seconds. And I show you more about this later. So 60 seconds real time. In this case, he was 60 seconds real in focus. And so here is a download. And this download is at 7:17. Remember, the session started, the resession started at 7:12. So this is more we see difference. We see, and again, page timers, we see time on page counters, we see content impressions, we see again lost focus, set, first focus, blur. So the guy or the person, the visitor, jumps on the page, jumps off the page, and every time. And now we have also again revisit. But before I have the last information that the visitor just here visit for 514 seconds. 540 seconds means the visit stops at 8 minutes and 34 minutes seconds real time on page. And remember, Matomo says 47 minutes. Interesting, huh? And so we have the next, we have a revisit again with 37 minutes and. After 17 seconds, lost blur, and so on, and so on, and so on. So you don't have to trust the total time on page because it's only measured between one click and the other in extreme. So the timer is always running. And my timer is also always running. So I have only one thing to show you. The timer, this landing page timer I have here, doesn't match in any case with the real time on the page. You see here 10 minutes on the page, but only 2 reading timers with 30 and 90 seconds. So I showed before, time on page. I wanted to have a real time on page concerning the total time in focus. So I'm calling this time on page counter. And I want to show you 1 or 2 different approaches using the search engine. And make the fake search engine. I'm searching for, I think Matomo maybe? Okay, which type of search engine user do you are? Did you, or are you one who clicks on the first or the second, or something like this, clicks and just leave the search engine and have information on this? So, okay, not so good, just go back and I'm using the next one. Or are you one of the guys who clicks at least on the different versions and opens them in a hidden tab? The first, second, the third, and every tab doesn't have a focus. So the normal timer just runs. I'm clicking at the first one and say the left time is total time on the page, and the right time is a time in focus. It's less because the page was loaded and I'm just click there to a later time. The time in focus, the lead timer, just stops or starts if the focus got back or got lost. And so I have a more precise information about the time totally on the page. You saw it before. 6 seconds, 7 seconds, something like this. This is normal case. And I show you something more. I move this one in a different window and slide it together so we can both have both windows in one view. So you see on the right one, the time and focus stopped with 17 seconds. The total timer just counts again and again and again. But if I use the focus on the right one, the left counter stops. The right counter goes on. So in this case, you have different approach. And maybe you can scroll in the background and the timer starts again because the scroll event doesn't lose the focus. You can scroll it down and runs away. But maybe you get a phone call or you get to breakfast. Then after 20 seconds, my timer stops after the last interaction because nearly everyone on desktop uses the mouse to read, to scroll a little bit, to read, to focus. And if no mouse was detected, then you can stop the time. And so I'm glad to finish my talk with the last word. This counter, this timer isn't complete yet. There are some race conditions I didn't solve by now, and I hope that you will scan this code, go to my website, have a look in the codes. The JavaScript is documented, so you can interact with them, you can read it, and maybe we can get in touch. This is my last call to action. Can this one and get in touch with me to connect me to book an information call so we can speak about the reading timer or something else you like to adjust. So thank you for your time, for listening my talk. And so fire free for your questions, for your information you like to get.
Yes, thank you very much, Joachim, for that very interesting talk. So you have lived up to your reputation to make web analytics interesting and fun. Perhaps the question, Michael has a question, the Google Click ID that you tracked, was this a visitor scope dimension or was this an action scope dimension?
Visitor scope.
All right, yes. So in general, because we talked about unexpected behavior and things that you could see in the numbers, what's the first three things you check when you're onboarding a new client in their Matomo instance?
One, as I currently know, is the outgoing link. So getting cleaner information about the um, linking to partner websites in special, because this is not a single incident gewesen. It was quite often that I see outgoing links are broken. The second one will be if there's any event system at all, because the most only uses the standard integration of Matomo with only page views, downloads, and outgoing links. So they get lost in this case. And the third one is German compliance, the TDDG, the Telecommunication Digital Data Security Act, states, for example, that you have to activate the disable feature detection for your settings. So you are free to use Matomo without any consent. And I don't know why this law was created in December 21, but nobody is aware of this law. And Matomo supports this information since version 4.8. So I really recommend to check your information, to check your setup, and to activate this small information to be free to use Matomo consent.
Okay, thank you very much. So a second question was, you partly already answered that, but I will pose it nevertheless. The focus blur engagement time implementation that you showed. How can people get this? Is it open source or can they consult you for implementing this?
Yeah. First of all, just go to my website. I will publish the link to the timer also there again. And also within the slides, it's available. It's nearly open source. I have not published it yet under open source license, but I will publish it. And I think it's a huge step to gather more and detailed information. And as I mentioned before, on shop.de/timer, there you find this script. It's well documented. So use it and give me a feedback. How good is this script working for you? I really know there are some race conditions. For example, if you minimize the browser in Windows in the address bar in the bottom in the tray, and you lift the browser back again, there is no event that I can fetch to gather the information that the focus is back. So there are some race conditions that don't work, and also on mobile there are some race conditions. Maybe I have time to gather more data to make it better, but this should be an open source project so everybody can work with it.
That sounds fantastic. Yeah, and that is really complex because every browser handles that a bit different. And getting this right on every browser, on every version, on every environment is really, is a substantial thing to do. So thank you very much, Joachim. We are unfortunately running out of time.
Yes.
Thank you very much for talking to us, in spite being on the T3 Con. With complex environment variables that nobody can know beforehand. But everything went well. We understood you very well and clear. So I think it's a big success. And the next talk is at 3:30, and then the closing keynote is at 4:30 in room 1. So it would be great if you would take part in that as well. So Joachim, again, thank you very much, and have a lot of fun at the T3Con. And yeah, greetings to Jean-Marc.
Yeah, see you. Bye.
See
Bye.
you.